Bruce Greenwood is a Canadian actor who has worked in film, television, and voice acting for many decades. I will share what is broadly reported by reliable public sources, and I will clearly mark areas that are not publicly known or are speculative, so they are not mistaken for confirmed facts. Because you asked for no symbols, I will avoid punctuation marks like the $ or %sign, and I will not use lists or bullet points that start with symbols. I will write in plain paragraphs and simple headings in text form. Title: Biography of Bruce Greenwood. Full name and basic information. Bruce Greenwood is a Canadian actor and producer. His commonly used full name is Bruce Greenwood. Some sources list his full birth name as Stuart Bruce Greenwood, but he is widely known professionally as Bruce Greenwood. Date and place of birth: Bruce Greenwood was born on August 12, 1956. He was born in Rouyn-Noranda in the province of Quebec in Canada. As of the last widely available information, there is no public record that Bruce Greenwood has died. Therefore, any death date would be false or speculative. He is understood to be alive. Nationality and ethnicity. Bruce Greenwood is Canadian. He grew up in Canada and is often described in interviews and press material as a Canadian actor. He has lived and worked in both Canada and the United States, but his nationality is Canadian. Details about his specific ethnic background are not widely discussed in reliable public sources, and he does not appear to have made that a focus of public statements. Without clear statements from him, it would be speculation to assign a detailed ethnic label. Early life and family background. Bruce Greenwood spent much of his childhood and youth in Canada. His father was a geophysicist, and his work led the family to move frequently. Public sources describe Bruce as having lived in various places while growing up, including Vancouver in British Columbia. Because his father worked in earth sciences, Bruce was often moving to different parts of the world or Canada when he was young. The publicly available information about his parents: his father is reported in various sources as a geophysicist, though his full name is not always prominently publicized. Information about his mother is more limited in the mainstream press. She has been described in some sources as a nurse or someone working in healthcare, but detailed biographical data about her is not widely circulated. There is not a lot of detailed, verified information about his siblings or extended relatives in major reputable profiles. This absence suggests that they are private individuals and that he has kept his broader family life out of the spotlight. Claims about specific names of siblings or relatives that are not from strong sources would be speculative. Childhood interests and early influences. Bruce Greenwood has shared in interviews that he was not always planning to be an actor. He became more interested in performing in his late teens and early adulthood. Before acting took hold as his primary path, he was interested in skiing and music. He reportedly played in bands in his youth and had a love for rock music. He has spoken about loving the experience of performance and the energy of creative work. Education and acting training. Bruce Greenwood attended the University of British Columbia in Vancouver, where he studied philosophy and economics for a time. During his time at the university, he became involved in theater. The experience of performing in plays influenced him to pursue acting more seriously. It is reported that he later studied acting at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York City. Training there helped him sharpen his craft and prepared him for stage and screen work. Early career. Bruce Greenwood began acting professionally in the late 1970s and early 1980s. His early work included theater and television roles, primarily in Canada. Some of his earliest screen credits include appearances in Canadian television series and made-for-television movies. He began to build a reputation in Canadian television through roles in shows such as the series Legmen and Saint Elsewhere, where he had guest appearances in the 1980s. His early film work included modest roles before he gradually moved into more prominent parts. Breakthrough and recognition. Bruce Greenwood gained more recognition in the late 1980s and 1990s. One of the roles that helped raise his profile was in the film Exotica, which was released in 1994 and directed by Canadian filmmaker Adam Egoyan. The movie was widely praised and helped bring him to the attention of international audiences and filmmakers. Another important step was his television work. He played Dr. Seth Griffin in the medical drama St. Elsewhere during the mid-1980s. Although not necessarily a global breakthrough, this gave him steady visibility and experience on a respected show. Over time, he began to be recognized as a reliable and versatile character actor who could play both sympathetic and morally complex roles. Major film roles and filmography highlights, Bruce Greenwood has a long list of film credits. Below are some notable highlights. This is not every film he has ever done, but includes many of his most widely known works. Exotica. Released in 1994, director Adam Egoyan, Greenwood plays a key role in this haunting drama set around a nightclub and centered on grief and memory. The film won praise at international festivals and elevated his profile as a serious actor. The Sweet Hereafter, released in 1997, director Adam Egoyan. Although his role is smaller relative to some others, this film is another highly acclaimed Canadian drama involving a tragic school bus accident and its aftermath. Double Jeopardy, released in 1999, director Bruce Beresford. In this thriller, starring Ashley Judd, Greenwood plays Nick Parsons, the husband whose supposed death underpins the plot. His performance as a charming but untrustworthy character contributed significantly to the film's tension and commercial appeal. 13 Days, released in 2000, director Roger Donaldson. Greenwood plays United States President John F. Kennedy during the Cuban Missile Crisis. This performance is one of his most widely praised. Critics noted his subtle and grounded portrayal rather than an impersonation heavy on mannerisms. Below, released in 2002, director David Twohy, Greenwood stars in this World War II submarine horror thriller combining war drama with supernatural elements. The Core, released in 2003, director John Amiel. In this science fiction disaster film, Greenwood plays Commander Robert Iverson, one of a team sent to the center of the Earth. The film became known as a large-scale disaster adventure with an ensemble cast. I, Robot. Released in 2004, director Alex Prius, Greenwood plays Lawrence Robertson, the head of the Robotics Corporation in this science fiction film starring Will Smith. Capote. Released in 2005, director Bennett Miller, Greenwood portrays the real-life author and critic Jack Dunphy, the partner of writer Truman Capote. The film focuses on Capote's work on the book In Cold Blood. Greenwood plays a quieter but emotionally important supporting role. Déjà Vu, released in 2006, director Tony Scott. In this time-bending thriller starring Denzel Washington, Greenwood plays Agent Jack McCready, an FBI official involved in the investigation. Star Trek 2009 and Star Trek Into Darkness, released in 2009 and 2013, director J.J. Abrams. Greenwood plays Captain Christopher Pike, the mentor figure to James Kirk. His portrayal of Pike brought him significant recognition among science fiction and franchise fans. Pike is depicted as calm, authoritative, and supportive, yet demanding. Meek's Cutoff, released in 2010, director Kelly Reichardt. Greenwood appears in this minimalist frontier drama about settlers lost in the Oregon desert. The film is quiet and atmospheric, and he plays a key role in the tense dynamics of the group. Flight, released in 2012, director Robert Zemeckis. In this drama, Greenwood plays Charlie Anderson, who is connected to the airline and to Denzel Washington's character. The film focuses on addiction, responsibility, and moral reckoning. Queen of the Night, also known as The Captive, released in the mid-2010s, director Adam Egoyan. Greenwood appears again in an Egoyan film involving themes of abduction and family trauma. Gerald's Game, released in 2017, director Mike Flanagan. Based on the Stephen King novel, the film largely centers on a couple played by Bruce Greenwood and Carla Gugino. His character dies early in the story, but appears throughout in hallucinatory and psychological sequences. Many viewers praised Greenwood for the intensity and physical commitment of this performance. Dr. Sleep, released in 2019, director Mike Flanagan. This film is an adaptation of Stephen King's novel and a sequel to The Shining. Greenwood plays Dr. John Dalton, a friend and supporter of the adult Dan Torrance. Though a smaller role, it places him again in a major Stephen King-related film. He has also participated in numerous other features, smaller dramas, thrillers, and genre films across decades. Television career highlights. Bruce Greenwood has had a substantial television career in addition to film. St. Elsewhere. In the 1980s, he played Dr. Seth Griffin on this respected medical drama. This was one of his early steady television roles. Knots Landing and other shows. He appeared in episodes of Knots Landing and many television movies and series over the years. The Summit and other miniseries. He has taken part in various miniseries, including political and thriller-oriented stories. Mad Men. He appeared as Richard Burkhoff, a romantic interest for Joan Holloway in the acclaimed series Mad Men. His character is a wealthy and confident businessman, and his scenes with Christina Hendricks received praise for their chemistry. American Crime Story. The People vs. O.J. Simpson. Greenwood played Gil Garcetti, the Los Angeles district attorney at the time of the O.J. Simpson trial. This anthology series was widely watched and critically acclaimed, and his supporting role contributed to the portrayal of the legal and political environment around the case. The Resident. He had a major role in this medical drama series as Dr. Randolph Bell, a powerful and complicated surgeon. Over multiple seasons, the character goes through significant development, from an apparently arrogant figure to a more complex and at times sympathetic presence. The Fall of the House of Usher. In the mid-2020s, he became associated with the Netflix series The Fall of the House of Usher, a horror drama created by Mike Flanagan and loosely based on the works of Edgar Allan Poe. Public coverage has associated Greenwood with a major patriarch role in the series. Voice acting. Bruce Greenwood has done voice work in animated projects and video games. Batman Under the Red Hood. In this animated film, he voices Batman, Bruce Wayne. His vocal performance was praised for its gravitas and emotional weight. He reprised Batman in other animated projects as well. Young Justice and other projects, he has voiced characters including Batman in animated series and related DC Comics-based media, further cementing him as a notable voice actor for this iconic character. Acting style and reputation. Bruce Greenwood is frequently described as a character actor with leading man qualities. He is often cast as authoritative figures, such as presidents, military officers, corporate leaders, or doctors, morally ambiguous or quietly menacing characters in thrillers, compassionate or paternal figures in dramas. Critics often describe his work as grounded, restrained, and intelligent. He tends to avoid showy overacting and instead gives subtle shading and emotional complexity. Directors such as Adam Egoyan, Mike Flanagan, and J.J. Abrams have worked with him multiple times, suggesting they value his reliability and range. Awards and nominations. Bruce Greenwood has received various nominations and some awards, particularly in Canada. While he has not been at the center of major United States Oscar campaigns, he is widely respected. Examples of recognition include nominations in Canadian awards, such as the Genie Awards, and other national or regional honors for films like Exotica and The Sweet Hereafter. Television-related nominations and ensemble recognition for shows like The People vs. O.J. Simpson and others. Specific award lists vary by country and year, and there are many smaller critics and festival accolades connected to his work. Advocacy and charitable work. Publicly documented information about Bruce Greenwood's advocacy and charity work is more limited than for some celebrities who make activism a central part of their public identity. However, some themes appear in reporting and interviews. He has participated in charity events and industry benefits, especially in Canada, including support for arts organizations and film or theater-related causes. Like many Canadian actors, he has been connected to efforts that promote Canadian cinema and television and that highlight the importance of public support for the arts. He has taken part in fundraisers and special celebrity events, but he is not widely known as a public political campaigner at the scale of some other actors. Because he is relatively private, it is likely that some of his charitable giving or support is not heavily publicized. Without clear public records, any detailed description of specific foundations or donation amounts would be speculation. Personal life, marital status and partner. Bruce Greenwood is married. His wife's name is Susan Devlin. They reportedly met in the 1970s and have been together for many years. Public descriptions suggest a long and stable relationship. Children. There are reports that Bruce Greenwood and his wife have one child, a daughter. Detailed personal information about his daughter, such as her name, occupation, or life details, is largely kept private and not widely publicized in major media. Out of respect for privacy and due to limited verified information, it is best not to speculate beyond the basic fact that he is a father. Relatives, parents, and siblings. As noted earlier, reliable sources note that his father was a geophysicist and that he and his family relocated often due to that career. There is not a lot of widely publicized and detailed information about his mother, siblings, or extended relatives in major popular biographies. In general, they are private individuals, and he has not made them a big part of his public persona. Friends and colleagues and people he socializes with, public information about his close friendships outside work is limited. However, we can see patterns from his repeated collaborations and good professional relationships. He has worked multiple times with director Adam Agoyan, for instance, on Exotica and The Sweet Hereafter and other projects. He has also developed a strong working relationship with director Mike Flanagan, appearing in Gerald's Game, Dr. Sleep, and The Fall of the House of Usher, and possibly other related projects. His recurring collaborations suggest mutual respect and likely a friendly rapport with these directors. He has also built friendly professional relationships with fellow actors in recurring projects, such as Carla Gugino in Gerald's Game and The Fall of the House of Usher, and others. Details about social circles outside the industry are not publicly recorded and would be speculative. Many actors maintain friendships with co-stars, directors, and long-term colleagues, and Greenwood appears no different, though he keeps private life relatively low profile. Physical appearance, height, and weight. Public sources generally list his height at around 5 feet 11 inches, or about 180 centimeters. Figures vary slightly, but he is often described as just under 6 feet. His weight is not consistently reported, and in any case fluctuates over time and by role. Some sources place him in the range of about 70 to 80 kilograms depending on the period. Precise numbers should not be treated as fixed facts. Eye color and hair color. Bruce Greenwood's eye color is typically described as blue. His natural hair color is brown, though. In many roles, he appears with graying or salt and pepper hair as he has aged. Over the decades, his hair has visibly transitioned from darker brown to more gray, but he sometimes appears with different styling depending on the character. Sexual orientation. Publicly available, reliable sources describe Bruce Greenwood as straight. He is married to a woman, Susan Devlin, and there has been no credible reporting from him suggesting any other sexual orientation. At the same time, he is known to be an actor, and professional life does not necessarily reveal all aspects of private orientation, but based on public information, he is understood as heterosexual. Religion. Bruce Greenwood has not made his religious beliefs a large part of his public persona. There is no widely cited consistent statement from him affirming a specific religious affiliation in major interviews. As a result, any claims such as that he is definitely of one particular faith or another would be speculation. The most honest answer is that his personal religious beliefs are not clearly known from public sources, and he appears to keep them private. Net worth. Various entertainment websites publish estimated net worth figures for actors, including Bruce Greenwood. These numbers are often guesses based on roles, real estate rumors, and other incomplete data. Estimates for him commonly mention several million in net worth. However, such sites do not provide transparent evidence. Therefore, we can say in general terms that he is a successful working actor who has enjoyed a long and steady career in film and television and likely has a comfortable level of financial security. Any exact number would be speculative and should not be taken as factual. Personality and public image, Bruce Greenwood is often perceived by colleagues and interviewers as thoughtful, professional, and somewhat reserved. Rather than cultivating a loud or controversial celebrity persona, he tends to focus on the work itself. He is praised for consistency and reliability on set, willingness to take both leading and supporting roles, ability to play both likable and deeply flawed characters. In interviews, he often speaks calmly and with a dry sense of humor. He does not appear overly interested in celebrity culture and is more associated with craft and long-term collaboration. Unknown facts and untold truths. Because you asked for unknown facts and untold truths, it is important to be clear about what can and cannot be known. There are many aspects of Bruce Greenwood's life that are simply private and not documented in reputable sources. That includes detailed daily routines, personal political views beyond occasional comments, private romantic history beyond his marriage, inner thoughts about colleagues, family matters beyond what he has chosen to share. Any gossip or rumor-based stories about these topics would not be responsible to repeat as truth. So the real untold truth is that he appears to be someone who deliberately keeps much of his life off the public stage. What we know solidly is mainly his work, his general biography, and a limited set of personal facts he has shared openly. At the same time, some interesting lesser-known aspects that have been mentioned in interviews or profiles include: he once pursued competitive or serious skiing when he was younger and considered being a professional skier before acting took over in importance. He has musical interests and has played guitar and sung for enjoyment, which helped his comfort with performing and rhythm in acting. His nomadic childhood, due to his father's geophysicist work, meant he experienced different places early on, which he has credited with making him adaptable and giving him a sense of curiosity about people and cultures. Controversies and public image issues. As of the latest widely available information, Bruce Greenwood has not been the focus of major public scandals or widely covered controversy. He is not strongly associated with tabloid drama. Most coverage centers on his acting work rather than personal problems. Because he has maintained this relatively low controversy profile, it would be incorrect to claim notable hidden scandals or dark untold stories without strong evidence. Responsible summaries therefore note the relative absence of major public disputes linked to his name. Summary of his place in film and television: Bruce Greenwood is widely regarded as one of the more respected Canadian actors of his generation, a reliable presence in both Canadian and American productions, an actor capable of quiet depth rather than showy star turns, a frequent collaborator with acclaimed directors in drama, thriller, and horror genres. His career has spanned decades from the late 1970s through at least the mid-2020s, with roles across cinema, television, and voice work. While not always a household name at the level of the biggest Hollywood stars, he is often the kind of actor critics and cinephiles immediately recognize and appreciate, because his presence typically elevates a project. What is not publicly known or confirmed, to be fully honest and avoid accidental misinformation here, is a quick reminder of key areas that are not clearly documented. Exact net worth, detailed medical history, detailed religious beliefs, names, ages, and lives of most relatives and possibly of his child, beyond general statements. Exact personal friendships and social life beyond professional collaborations. Any supposed sensational secrets that do not come from his own statements or from reputable biographical work. These are unknown to the public, and anything you might read that claims very precise data on these topics should be treated carefully. If you like, I can also put together a simpler timeline of his life and major works in chronological order, or focus on one category, such as only his horror roles or only his science fiction work.